Solutions. Learn more at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with Taco Night on Mondays or Whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
LES wants your feedback. Help shape your electric utility's direction and priorities by taking an anonymous online survey. Make your voice heard before the survey closes on April 30th at les.com/survey.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Spring is here. It's time to get back outside and into proper shoes this year. Brown's Shoe Fit is the place to buy this spring with their sale on athletic shoes. Get $15 off any regular priced athletic shoes with respected brands like Hoka, Brooks, New Balance, and On Running. And don't forget, Brown's carries a large arrangement of sizes and widths to fit your feet properly. Start your spring off right at Brown's Shoe Fit, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln. Spring is the time of new beginnings and trying new things. If you haven't tried Führer's cheese spread yet, the time is now. For parties for St. Patrick's Day and Easter or celebrating the NCAA tournament with friends, there's no better dip to bring everyone together and celebrate something from Nebraska. Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Führer's cheese spread. No event or party is complete without it on your table.
John Henry's has a brand new membership club to protect your entire home in one program. With a VIP and a deluxe option, we will help you find the plan that best fits your needs. Receive discounts on services and equipment, priority service, complimentary inspections, and so much more. Protect your home's plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical systems all in one membership. Call John Henry's to learn more.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air,
and Electrical.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is the Don't Punt Hour with former Nebraska receiver.
Throwing over the middle, completes the pass. He's got speed to the end zone. Touchdown! 45 yards.
And return specialist.
This time he beats the kicker in one more.
DeMornay Pierson-El.
Not only does the sideline have confidence in Pierson-El, but Pierson-El has confidence in Pierson-El.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome in. Don't Punt Hour. Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. We got Royals once again on the brick and mortar, but you guys can join in via the streams and the Sorter Heyman text line 402-464-5685. We got the host as always, DeMornay Pierson-El on the Allo VIP line. Really understand the importance of exceptional service with a local heart. Got some Husker news to talk about today, but first off, DeMornay Pierson-El, how's it going on a Wednesday night?
A lot better.
What was yesterday? You just still pissed about Houston losing?
Yes.
Okay, understandably. Yeah, I was upset too. My wallet even more upset. With that being said, though, we'll go through. We're not going to spend a ton of time on Nebraska basketball. We've talked about it a lot, obviously, with those guys winning the college basketball crown in Vegas. But we do got some more news. They did pick up Kendall Blue, guard from St. Thomas. I think he was averaging about 12 points a game down there. He's a not an elite three-point shooter by any means, but last season was certainly his best, about 40%. But on average, he's probably closer to about 35% from three, maybe even a little bit lower than that. But you had another guard in there, which I think is a big piece to this. And, you did hear Fred Hoiberg in some of his press conference kind of mention that they're not necessarily looking for that quote-unquote point guard, but it feels good when you get another guard in here like Kendall Blue. And he, like I said, he's going to be senior next year. So it'll be his last year for him. But 6'6", and over at St. Thomas, pretty decent stats. And 12 points a game, 51% from the floor. And like I said, best year from three, he was 41%, 42% if you round up from the three-point line. But his free throw numbers, 73% from the free throw line, which is odd and is probably more telling that this year was a bit of an aberration in terms of how good of a three-point shooter he is. In the 2 years prior, he was down 32%. But that's kind of the rundown on Kendall Blue, the 6'6" guard coming out of St. Thomas to Nebraska. Thoughts on Nebraska adding another guard, in particular with Blue?
It's a solid piece. It's a long, lanky guard. You got more people to, get the offense started with, more people, to have the ball in their hands. Clearly, he has a plan for what he wants to do. For next year, we're having multiple guys that can do a lot of things. They're not just, one-sided or, one-dimensional. He's a veteran guy. He knows, he understands what it takes at that level. He knows what it takes to, to be successful and everything like that. So again, with the pieces that you have going out and some of the young pieces that you have coming back, you add, a bit of senior leadership or veteranship into that and everything like that. I like the nucleus that he's building. I like the players that he's bringing in. He's been bringing in tall people. They haven't been short. And that's the one thing that, has kind of been, sticking out. We've always kind of been a smaller, team. Now he's getting some length. Now he's getting some athletic guys. So, versatility is key. So I'm anxious to see, how it all pans out.
Yeah, to your point, Blue 6'6", Lawrence 6'3", decent, so especially at the college game, you can find a 1 or 2 guard at that height. You'll take that. 6'3", not super big, but a good height nonetheless. Yeah, I'm just curious to see where this keeps going along. You did also hear some quotes from Hoiberg, how they still got some circles on 3 guys that they're really looking at right now, I believe, if you're not counting this one right here. So they're definitely not done yet, but that is the last update. They get Kendall Blue out of St. Thomas. Also, just for the fun of it, Iowa losing more players to the portal. They lose Kingsbury, a former Nebraska kid out of Ponca. That's why I want to bring that up. The Nebraska native is leaving Iowa. Who knows? Maybe that's another name that Nebraska circles in the transfer portal to bring in a Nebraska native. With that being said, though, we got a lot of football to talk about. We did get to the press conferences, and I'll ask you, who do you want to hear from first today off the football team? Do you want to hear from Satterfield, Harburg, or Dvorak, linebackers coach?
Satterfield.
You said Harburg?
Satterfield.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I was surprised by that. Yeah, we'll start with Satterfield. No offense to Harburg, but I just definitely thought Satterfield would be the first one you want to hear from, and that is what you said. So we'll start with that. And I think the best way to prompt this is just kind of figuring out his initial eyes on that tight end room. So here's his initial impressions of the playing making at that tight end position.
I didn't. I mean, it was literally like the 4th or 5th play that he was out there. But he's moving around a little bit. He can't do anything in practice, but just watch him move around. Just big, physical, explosive guy, very smart, very intellectual football. He's eat up with the game of football. He studies the game of football. So he's fun to have in our meeting rooms.
I apologize. That was him on Markway, but here's him adjusting to coaching the tight ends from the offensive coordinator position.
I'm having the time of my life. It's great to get to learn from Dana, an offensive mind like Dana. I get to coach the greatest position in football, the tight end, which you get to run, you get to run block, you get to pass, you get to catch balls. Like you get to coach the whole game, and it's got a really good room. We're a very close room, and again, I'm happier now than I've ever been in coaching.
Seems like he's taken the demotion pretty well. I think that's the right attitude to have with it. You got a guy like Dana Holgerson. It's going to be great to learn from a guy like him.
I mean, coming from how, the Nebraska media, the Big Ten media crucified him about what he was doing and not doing, I bet you are happy.
Yeah.
The pressure's not necessarily, on you. You don't have to come up with answers to why. You don't have to, people aren't necessarily pressing you. I'm not saying, people forgot or, overlooking and everything like that, but, people don't have to go to you for answers anymore. So you're not really, in the limelight with it. So, the pressure's off. You have a diverse room. You got some guys that are hurt that are going to be coming back. You got some guys that you don't really know. You got some guys that left to go on to pursue other things and everything like that. So, I mean, his focus and intention is on, making sure you put, his best foot forward to seeing exactly what can come out of that room. Because, that room, honestly, I think has a question mark.
Yeah. And this thing I'll say about Satterfield is like, you're definitely right. The pressure, that's got to be a huge weight taken off of him. Yeah. He's not going to have to worry about that anymore. If Dylan
every Monday you don't got to go
yep.
You don't got to go, or every Sunday you don't got to go to press conferences. You kind of get requested and everything. You can relax a little bit more. You don't got to be attacked week in and week out.
Yeah, and especially in a city like Lincoln, people are going to that's the one thing I will say. Lincoln, great sports city, but if you are like a coach, especially for like a football team, if you go to Hy-Vee, no shot you're going to get out of there unscathed. Just about everybody in there is going to, from offensive coordinator to our wide receiver, Coach McGuire. Like, I can think of the times that I was like, there goes McGuire.
The lady at the church lady at the church will give you an earful.
Yeah, and tell you what you're doing wrong and give you her X's and O's. Yeah. But nonetheless, it's good to see Satterfield. I'm not like surprised by him enjoying this more. The money's still good. The pressure is a lot less. And now he's just working with those tight ends. And here is Satterfield, a little bit off the tight ends, but just the impact the new coaching staff has had on Matt Rule himself. Here's Satterfield on that.
I think that, Dana's got us and Coach Butler's, got the defense. I think Coach made a really good point a couple weeks ago. Dana's trying to build the best offense that we can have. Coach Butler's trying to build the best defense that he can have. And Coach Rule's responsible to build the best team. And I think it's really freed him up just in the team meetings and just he's able to, not have to worry about 10 different things. He's just worried about the team and developing the team. And I think that's been a really good thing, really, this offseason.
So there you go. More of like kind of Matt Rule taking that CEO approach. I was reading an article as well from The Athletic. Apologies, can't remember who's writing, but essentially just you see Matt Rule just kind of meandering all throughout the practice facility while other coaches are out there, obviously coaching up, whether it's indie groups or even just scrimmaging drills. He's definitely seems like he's taking that CEO approach. From people who are out there seeing some of the spring practice, the way you're getting in these press conferences. Thoughts on that? I know we've talked about it before, but this is just more proof that this seems to be the approach he's leaning into.
I mean, it's been stated something like that along the lines. I mean, clearly he doesn't have to step in as much as he did when, Satterfield was the offensive coordinator. You have a guy that's a lot that I don't want to say, and I don't mean to sound bad when I say this, but you have a guy who's more confident in what he wants to run and what he knows to run and setting up and evaluating things. So that takes the pressure off of, Rule kind of having a hand on in that and everything like that. He's letting Dana, run his show, which is, the job of the offensive coordinator now. Will Rule pop in and, show face and do what he's supposed to on things and everything like that? Absolutely. He's just not going to, not show. But, you got two grown men in there running two sides of the ball and everything like that. A head coach's job is not to, step on toes or anything like that. He's just, a bridge builder for everybody. He's the glue to a lot of stuff. So I don't see anything, wrong with that. Seems like, everybody's, a lot more comfortable. They understand, what their assignment is and whatnot. And Rule is not, by any means a dictator or anything like that, coming down hard on people or anything like that. He's a facilitator. He shows love. He gives energy. He gives you the talks and everything like that. At points in times, I'm pretty sure he gives coaching tips and everything like that, coaching pointers and whatnot. And, it seems to be working. Guys seem to, favor it and everything like that. You haven't heard anything negative. You've been seeing a lot of positive things. So, I mean, that's definitely a plus in year 3.
Yeah. And again, I think we'll see more and more coaches do this. Just the way NIL is getting out of control. It's maybe that gets corrected as well. But these coaching staffs are just getting bigger and bigger. I mean, even when you were playing, which wasn't that long ago, to like what the coaching staffs looks like today, like it's already grown quite a bit just from since then. So I'm okay with it. Like when you have this big of a staff going on, like you do need someone who's just constantly overseeing everything. Who, yeah, maybe it wasn't that day that you got to spend a whole lot of time with them, but any chance he might show up trying to figure out what are you doing, what are you working on, why. And so it's interesting. I'm curious to see how it plays out for Matt Rule, but I do think that's probably the right approach, especially the way college football is going, is to be one of those CEO style coaches. Shout out to the people outside here in Lincoln, Nebraska, walking down 1040 O Street. But yeah, I'm just very excited for it.
And Rule is a thing where he's going to have to be flexible to, the offense has, a lot of star power over there on that side. So, of course, he's going to be sitting in meetings. That way he can, provide a different perspective than maybe the offensive coordinator, vice versa with the defense. We lost a lot players-wise and coaching-wise. So that gives him the opportunity to kind of sit back and evaluate certain things. He might hear things differently, see things a little, see things a different way or whatever, or can attest to kind of, help shape, or take heat off of, these players, these coaches and everything like that. So I don't think it's wrong or bad at all, him being able to be flexible and provide, assistance on either side if it can come in at any point in given time. I think that's actually a strength.
Absolutely. All right, question for you, DeMornay, and we'll get to hear Satterfield to answer it himself, but why do you think he chose to stay at Nebraska as the tight end coach?
I mean, for one, I mean, it's right now it's home. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to get fired. You don't like to get fired. You're only as good as your last job and everything like that. So again, I mean, coaching. If he wants to be a head coach, if he wants to be another offensive coordinator, I mean, him having to kind of go through this and weather this storm and stick his name back on the Nebraska brand, and hopefully, they take off more than they did last year and everything like that. That could land him, another opportunity too. I mean, Rule's a guy, he doesn't want to let his guys go. You were brought here for a reason. So I think that if the conversation would have went differently, or, if it would have been, a bad exchange from Rule to him, it might have been different. But how I kind of look at it, Rule was definitely, open and allowed him to a lot of things. And he felt like that was just, the best situation. It's an open job, minus, maybe the money or anything like that. You don't really have to, move out of town. You don't have to move your family or anything like that. You don't have to answer, other questions at other schools and get reacquainted with guys and whatnot. You could focus on your craft, and you can learn under, Dana, and, that can catapult your coaching career, getting back to offensive coordinator or getting back to, or getting to a head coach, if that's what his aspirations are.
Yeah. And, again, like, I think to your point, who's taking the flyer on that offense if he does leave Nebraska? I'm like, yeah, I think you'd be a great fit if we hire you as offensive coordinator. Like, you'd have to take a certain downgrade position-wise, or downgrade just conference, even like from Power 4, you'd have to figure something out.
The pathway to getting back to that might be a little bit, it might have a couple extra steps of which you got to go around to, versus like, if you'd have stayed a year or two and then you get a coaching opportunity that you might, want or like a little bit better, or, maybe time for you to, you want to move on and progress. It might be that, but, people look at what you did last, and necessarily kind of what he was doing last, it wasn't necessarily enough, or people, might not, you might not be people's, first options or anything like that. So staying here allows him to kind of build off of that. And if he does decide to leave, he could leave on a higher note and might be a hotter, commodity in open market.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think like just time alone will make him a hotter commodity. Again, like the recency bias definitely takes over. Ask Michael Malone if that's true or not. He'll tell you it's absolutely true, as he's no longer head coach of the Denver Nuggets. But Satterfield, I think it's just good. It's a win-win for Nebraska in my eyes. Matt Rule gets to retain Satterfield. Satterfield, he still has connections with some of those players, and obviously was part of that with Carter Nelson last year, which we do got to talk about him. But before we get there, let's just listen to Satterfield himself on why he chose to stay with Nebraska as that tight end coach.
That's a great question. We preach every day there's going to be adversity. And what happened to me is no different than a player getting benched or, having to go from first team to second team. It's no difference. And I believe in this place. I believe in Nebraska. I believe in everything. When I came here, I still believe it. We got great things ahead of us, and I think we can do it, and I wanted to be a part of it. I wanted to finish what we started. And I thought it'd be a great example for our guys just to see when you go through some hard stuff, like practice what you preach and just keep coming to work and keep giving it your best every single day.
There you go. There's his answer for it. Obviously, a little bit of coach speak in there, but I do think he was genuine with some of that in there for sure. Just thoughts on his answer to why he's choosing to stick around as that tight end coach now at Nebraska.
I mean, it's very transparent. I mean, it takes, a man to say that. Not a lot of people will, point the finger. I mean, not a lot of people will point the thumb. And for him to say that, as a coach, everybody in the nation, knew that. So that's not, something that only Nebraska is looking at. That's across, the nation. And, that will stick. And, that could get him, that alone of him accepting, what it was and saying what it was, but yet, sticking by what he believes in and everything like that, people can start to look in you even more just off of, you being truthful, you being realistic. And, a lot of athletes can relate to that 100%. That may be, a key. He can get through a couple guys in his room in the future. So, it takes a strong individual to say that. And, he has my respect for saying that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's probably one of the best answers you can possibly have to a question like that is, there's not a whole lot of great ways you can say it. I mean, none of them are, why you choose to stay without pointing to the obvious. Like, yes, you're still getting paid. It's a good opportunity. But to point down that again, what I believe is some real authenticity, that he does truly care about this program, and he does want to be part of turning it around. If that means he can't do it at the offensive coordinator position, then kind of by what he seemed to mean there, so be it. He just wants to be part of this program and see it win, regardless if that's the tight end coach or offensive coordinator. We have not talked about this yet, and biggest reason why is I've just kind of been waiting on information for it. But Carter Nelson, obviously not going to be available for spring. We got more on that today. Here's Satterfield to try to get some more questions on it, and they asked him on his availability. Here's Satterfield on that.
I have no idea. I think I will, but I really don't want to comment on any of that stuff. I don't really know the dates and things like that.
So there you go. Not really much of an answer there either. How worried are you about Carter Nelson?
Worried, very worried. Yeah, his situation is different. It is
bizarre. Is what it is.
Huh?
It's bizarre, is what it is.
So that's a long way to recovery. That's all I'm going to say on it. It is not easy. He has an uphill battle, but I mean he's built for it. Getting back, healthy is one thing, and then also again learning a whole new offense. And then, learning, and I mean, it's different. I know 6-man is, different than 8, but, he's a bit raw. So you add raw in and with recovering from injuries, it's going to take some time. So I don't expect anything, honestly, like soon. That's a situation.
Yeah. And it's, again, like for everyone that didn't quite catch the story, he had basically had to go through like a couple surgeries this offseason, and there's the potential he might be out for even that entire 2025 season.
Was it reported on? Was it reported, or what exactly was it?
It's something like with the hip. It's trying to find the exact details of it. I'm not a doctor, so I'm just looking for like a broad of like what parts of the body are not fitting correctly. Yeah, his hip is the big issue.
it's not just one. So that again, that's a situation. And like I said, I mean, any injury or anything like that, it's severe enough. But I think that's an uphill battle. And and this is just me, my opinion. I don't think any time necessarily soon. And that's not me knowing anything like that, just understanding and knowing kind of something of the situation. I don't foresee that being something you come back, from like nothing happened in, 6 to 8 months.
Yeah. Man, I just, hopefully everything works out for him.
And I could be wrong, you know what I'm saying? I wish him a speedy recovery. Don't wish anything up on him or anything like that, but just, that's a lot. I know he is around. I know, he is in the book and active and everything like that. It's just kind of one of those things that you have to see, with time. But I mean, it's not an easy surgery.
Yeah, and I'm just not sure what led to the hip problem to begin with. If it was just like, the way your body constructed itself together, if it was something weird or, because, 18, I think of like hip surgery. I'm not thinking of like 18, 19, 20, even in like contact sports. That's not one you really see. So like I said, hopefully things pan out. I'm 2025 season. I got no idea if he's going to be available. I don't think anybody really does. As Satterfield pointed out as well. And you don't want to rush it. Like you, in this case, certainly much safer than some.
It's not for, Satterfield to say, which is why I don't want to dive too much into it, but that they say and do things for a certain reason of stuff and everything like that. So I understand, protecting that as much. Like I said, all I know is just it was harsh, and I'm not too. And this is just like I said, and this is just me outside viewing from the outside of that. It's a rough situation. And like I said, I me just looking or understanding it, I would say more time is better than, rushing speaking from experience with rushing back from injuries.
Yeah, I'm sure you would know all too well about that one. But that being said, we'll have to go ahead. Throw it to break here. Don't go anywhere. We'll talk some more Husker football. We'll hear from Dvorak and Harburg. We got some quotes from those guys as well. So don't go anywhere. We'll do that next right here. Don't Punt Hour. Good morning, Pierson-El, Harrison Arndt, talk to you in a little bit.
A lot of businesses say they're family focused, but when tough situations in life arise, the business wants anything but your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, just as they do their customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and a diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740.
When opportunity knocks, you don't want to miss the call. Hamilton Business Technologies makes communication easy and efficient using customized technology, all while putting people first. Whether you're working from the office, at home, or on the go, Hamilton Business Technologies equips your business with the right tools for smooth, professional call handling. Hamilton Business Technologies. Real people, real technology solutions. Learn more at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
LES wants your feedback. Help shape your electric utilities direction and priorities by taking an anonymous online survey. Make your voice heard before the survey closes on April 30th at les.com/survey.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Spring is here. It's time to get back outside and into proper shoes this year. Brown's Shoe Fit is the place to buy this spring with their sale on athletic shoes. Get $15 off any regular priced athletic shoes with respected brands like Hoka, Brooks, New Balance, and On Running. And don't forget, Brown's carries a large arrangement of sizes and widths to fit your feet properly. Start your spring off right at Brown's Shoe Fit, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln. Spring is the time of new beginnings and trying new things. If you haven't tried Führer's cheese spread yet, the time is now. For parties for St. Patrick's Day and Easter or celebrating the NCAA tournament with friends, there's no better dip to bring everyone together and celebrate something from Nebraska. Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Führer's cheese spread. No event or party is complete without it on your table.
John Henry's has a brand new membership club to protect your entire home in one program. With a VIP and a deluxe option, we will help you find the plan that best fits your needs. Receive discounts on services and equipment, priority service, complimentary inspections, and so much more. Protect your home's plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical systems all in one membership. Call John Henry's to learn more.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
And electrical.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
Your new Total Wine in Lincoln has the largest selection of wines, spirits, and beers, plus totally low prices and friendly service from our helpful guides. With over 8,000 wines, 4,500 spirits, and 2,500 beers, you're sure to find your favorites and something new. You can even order delivery, in-store, or curbside pickup. Find what you love what you find. Only at Total Wine and More. Now open in Lincoln next to Gateway Mall.
Drink responsibly, B21.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends.
This is the Don't Punt Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, DeMornay Pierson-El.
All right, welcome back in segment number 2. Don't Punt Hour. Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. We got DeMornay Pierson-El on the Allo VIP line, and we got the Royals on the brick and mortar. And the Royals currently tied up with the Minnesota Twins, 0-0 at the top of the fourth inning. And let's talk a little more Husker football here, as we got 2 segments left here. Once again, I'll give you the option: Harburg or the linebacker coach, Rob Dvorak. DeMornay Pierson-El, which one you want to hear from?
We'll go Harburg.
All right, Harburg gets his name pulled out of the hat. Let's start with just the adjustment. Obviously, that's the big question for a lot of people. So the adjustment from being QB to being back in that tight end room.
I mean, kind of, I'd say the last 2 years where I kind of started to take a step in, recognizing defenses. And, you're in the middle of the formation. You can see everything. You can see the safeties. You can see the linebackers. And now, sometimes, I'm on the far side of the field, trying to see, it's just a different perspective, seeing 1 high, 2 high, where the safeties are going. But then on top of that, seeing, what leverage I have. It's a lot easier. From quarterback, you can't see sometimes the leverage defenders have on tight ends or receivers. And now I can see it, and makes it a lot easier.
So there you go. He is applying some of that QB knowledge at that tight end position, which is no surprise there. But, any thoughts on that? On just him just talking about that adjustment?
It's different. So I mean, of course, it's going to be an adjustment, but as far as reading the defense and everything like that, I mean that should come easily. You already know where your eyes got to go. You're not worried about you're not worried about the line unless in run packages for the most part. So I mean, whether that's if you're on a three, if you're in a three hole in a three set, if you're in two tight ends and you're closer to the line, or if you're like in a joker formation and he's split out wide like a wide out, your safeties are not going to tell you. Your safeties are going to tell you the truth of things or whatnot. I mean, and he might be able to pick up, on linebacker depth and everything like that to kind of tell or whatnot. So I don't think that part will be hard or anything like that. I think it's just the actual, route running and the shiftiness and that part of it. Because I'm not so sure that's really a strong suit of his.
We know he's fast, really fast. I was surprised again today.
Running in a straight line. Yeah, I get that, but I mean, sometimes that's not.
I mean, I'm just willing to bet he's an athlete. I'm not. I get what you're saying. I'm not totally sure, but I mean, the guy's in the dunk contest. He's the top speed. Yes, it's not a 40 time. It's whatever that top speed is. How long it takes to get there, but he's number one on that board despite putting on all this weight. I'm just in the boat that this guy he's just a good athlete. So I'm willing to bet that he's going to be able to figure these things out. To your point, though, I think the toughest thing is, I don't even know how to describe it. Just those kind of you feel it plays. At the tight end, that's a lot of it, I feel like.
I think with him having an understanding from a quarterback's perspective, like if it's his zone coverage and everything like that, once he kind of understands what they're in and whatnot, I think he'll pick up and kind of figure out where the holes are in the offense and everything like that. That's fine and dandy, but as far as when I mean like what I think will be a problem for him, is more so change of direction. You guys, or necessarily, going one way and coming back the other way and everything like that. He can run verticals fine and dandy. He can run corners fine and dandy. He can run overs fine and dandy. But catching it and maybe stop and starting or making a move necessarily. Like I don't think that's a strong suit of his. Like that's what I'm by changing pace. He has one speed and that's going forward. So I think that's kind of where I want to see how things go. But as far as like him figuring out and understand kind of what a defense is trying to do with him being in the quarterback room of understanding coverage and whatnot, I think that will be beneficial to him, especially when you have a quarterback that can throw from different, platforms, that understands where people are going to be at. So them just being in that room and hearing the coach talk through things and hearing, Dylan talk through things and whatnot, I think will give him a leg up on a lot of stuff. They might be on a similar page early and often just because of them being in the room at the same time and understanding what's expected, what they're looking for.
Yeah, he's going to be interesting. I don't think anything you said or I said was wrong. It's a wait and see kind of case for him. And, whatever his weaknesses are, I think where I'm leaning on it is like, I think he's got enough bright spots where you think you can find ways to utilize them. The question is going to be, how much do you really need him to be an impact player? The Carter Nelson, we talked about that before as well. You're not sure what his availability is going to look like. But, again, I don't think we'll have to use Harburg, anything close to like Warren. I think they'll be able to use him in a limited way that still gets good production out of him. I think this offense has enough talent that he's not going to have to be just this all-time elite tight end who's got to be making huge plays, every time down the field. I think this offense has got enough. He's just got to be consistent, productive enough. And I think, especially when you got Dana Holgorsen in there, he'll be able to identify the strengths and figure out ways to utilize them if that's what that game calls for, is utilizing those tight ends a little bit more. Here's Satterfield, or excuse me, not Satterfield. Here's Harburg on the help he's got from Satterfield making this transition.
Like I said, we haven't really talked about that. I think more of it is Sat and I got really close during the 2023 season. That year was like a war every week trying to find a win. And so he and I just got really tight during 2023. He knows that I was going to do whatever I could to get a win on Saturdays. And I watched him basically live in the facility that year. He gave everything he had that year. And I respect him so much. That's a guy that I would go to battle for any day of the week.
So again, it's more, if you're, Satterfield, today's press conference went pretty well, because if it wasn't you out there, you got guys like Harburg, quotes like, "You didn't leave." I know everyone is frustrated with the offense, but, according to Harburg, the guy was working pretty hard, especially in that 2023 season, to get things working. Anything you got on that? Just Harburg kind of talking about that relationship, maybe not so much of as a recent, but his respect level that he does have for Satterfield.
The players will tell you the truth how they feel about, their coaches. Even if they, try and kind of hide things, they've got to let you know. And being open and honest, lets you know how that was, Satterfield was, trying things and everything like that and working hard and whatnot. So it's good when you got that chemistry and that level of respect and trust, in a room together and everything like that. So you don't find that. You don't find that everywhere you go, and especially with money being added into the situation and everything like that. It's an exciting thing. It's a good feeling when you got a guy that and that you can trust from player to coach and from coach to player.
Yeah, it's out of this tight end room, again, with the Nelson stuff we don't really know yet, but you still got Lindenmeyer as well. Last year was a pretty good year for the tight. It was much better than it has been in the past. You still might be wanting a little bit more there. Do you finally expect this tight end room to take a next step in terms of their production?
I think so, just because of how they're going to attack this year. I think a lot of teams are going to try and. I think Rule wants to make the game easier. If kind of like what the Eagles did. Could they throw? Yes, but they necessarily didn't have to. So if that makes the game easier, if that makes the game more controllable, I think that's what they're going to do. So I think that the tight end room will have a lot more mismatches, just because of the defensive personnel in there. The guys that are in the room that are athletes that can, play multiple positions and make some things happen. I think the potential is there. Potential is one thing. Now, executing, having, the coaches call it, having the right game plan in and everything like that is completely different. So I'm not saying, they're going to make a huge jump from last year to this year, just because it's a lot of unknowns in that room. We knew kind of who the guys were in that room, and it was just, okay, they weren't getting, many opportunities and everything like that. This year's situation is a little bit different. You got guys that are hurt coming back. You got guys that are stepping up into the situation. You may even have guys that, the public might not even know just yet. So I think that this tight end room will prove some things that they will have to capitalize on their mismatch and their matchups, because I don't think they won't have a whole lot just with what Dana will be trying to do.
Yeah, it's a good answer. I'm curious as well, just to, again, trying to see how it all entirely sifts out here. I want to get through one more quote, and then we do got to go ahead and throw it to our final break here on the Don't Punt Hour. When you're looking at all these tight ends, we talked about it with the Lindenmeyer. What is it about the injury bug, though, that has just captivated that tight end room? It feels like part of the problem hasn't even been on the coaches. It's like, a lot of it, you look at Fedoni's time, and now obviously you get this unfortunate Nelson, and it's not maybe as bad as it seems. We still have yet to see, but that room has just been constantly plagued by having, you get this high recruit tight end, and they always seem to get hurt at Nebraska. It's just been incredibly injury ridden. So hopefully this year the guys can stay healthy, and we don't have to go through that. I'm going to play this quote here. I'll be honest, this is the one I haven't quite heard the audio for it yet, but this is just Harburg on what has made the transition fun for him so far. It's not all apparently too bad going from the quarterback to the tight end room. Here's Harburg on that before we throw it to our final break here.
I think, first off, changing my body a little bit, being able to put on some more weight and see like like kind of push the limits of like what my body can and can't do. Whether that be weight, like seeing how much weight I can put on without, losing any speed or minimal speed. And, just learning different stuff. Like I've never really run a route before. And, learning from Coach Shorts, from Coach Sat, like all these different guys who we have in the building who are willing to help, like just learning little stuff like that has been really fun.
So there you go. Learning about the little stuff, a little bit different for him. And then again, putting on that weight, and apparently hasn't been losing too much speed either. So with that being said, we'll throw it to our final break here. On the other side, we will hear from Dvorak, and that'll wrap it up for us right here on the Don't Punt Hour. Don't go anywhere, though. Like I said, we still got one more segment on the other side. Don't Punt Hour. Good morning, Pierson-El, Harrison Arns. Talk to you in a little bit.
A lot of businesses say they're family focused, but when tough situations in life arise, the business wants anything but your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, just as they do their customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and a diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740.
When opportunity knocks, you don't want to miss the call. Hamilton Business Technologies makes communication easy and efficient using customized technology, all while putting people first. Whether you're working from the office, at home, or on the go, Hamilton Business Technologies equips your business with the right tools for smooth, professional call handling. Hamilton Business Technologies. Real people, real technology solutions. Learn more at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
LES wants your feedback. Help shape your electric utilities direction and priorities by taking an anonymous online survey. Make your voice heard before the survey closes on April 30th at les.com/survey.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Spring is here. It's time to get back outside and into proper shoes this year. Brown's Shoe Fit is the place to buy this spring with their sale on athletic shoes. Get $15 off any regular priced athletic shoes with respected brands like Hoka, Brooks, New Balance, and On Running. And don't forget, Brown's carries a large arrangement of sizes and widths to fit your feet properly. Start your spring off right at Brown's Shoe Fit, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln. Spring is the time of new beginnings and trying new things. If you haven't tried Führer's cheese spread yet, the time is now. For parties for St. Patrick's Day and Easter or celebrating the NCAA tournament with friends, there's no better dip to bring everyone together and celebrate something from Nebraska. Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Führer's cheese spread. No event or party is complete without it on your table.
John Henry's has a brand new membership club to protect your entire home in one program. With a VIP and a deluxe option, we will help you find the plan that best fits your needs. Receive discounts on services and equipment, priority service, complimentary inspections, and so much more. Protect your home's plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical systems all in one membership. Call John Henry's to learn more.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
And electrical.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
Your new Total Wine in Lincoln has the largest selection of wines, spirits, and beers, plus totally low prices and friendly service from our helpful guides. With over 8,000 wines, 4,500 spirits, and 2,500 beers, you're sure to find your favorites and something new. You can even order delivery, in-store, or curbside pickup. Find what you love what you find, only at Total Wine and More. Now open in Lincoln next to Gateway Mall.
Drink responsibly, B21.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion, for happier, healthier, furry friends.
This is the Don't Punt Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Pierson-El.
All right, welcome back in. Final segment of the Don't Punt Hour before we swing it over to one-on-one with Derek Pierson. A little bit of changing in scheduling programming tonight, but nonetheless, don't worry. Stick Weeknights goes on. Like I said, DP will join us for that next hour. But Pierson-El, the co-host, as always. Well, apologies, just the host, as always, of the Don't Punt Hour. Pierson-El. We got Dvorak in. What do you want to hear about first here? We got a few options. We can hear, what it's like seeing Matt Rule take a different approach on Javen Wright being back, or just the strides in general that linebacker room is making.
I would say strides in general.
That's why I wanted as well. All right, here is Dvorak on just the strides of that linebacker room and what they're doing so far in spring ball.
I think it's something that's still a work in progress. Every day there's some element of working on a man technique or working on a zone technique or working on a match coverage technique that we need to work on. So there's obviously room for improvement, and whether it's individual time we're spending on it, whether it's one-on-ones, whether it's 7-on-7, and then taking those into team periods, we're still working on that.
Anything you got on there? A lot of coach speak on that one.
That they're working. They want to find multiple guys that are versatility. They're not going to be bland guys.
Mm-hmm.
They're giving them a lot of tools. They're going to be able to play different things. They might have guys that can do different things and everything like that. So as he said, spring ball is still kind of it's towards the middle of things and everything like that. They're iron is sharpening iron. They're adding tools to the toolbox. I don't see anything bad or anything like that.
Yeah, and again, this is why I don't go all over the place and I don't try to play these audio quotes every single week, is because you just don't. You hear things, you speculate, because that's about all you're left to do, unless you're actually there at all those practices, and even then they're not. There's only so many available that you can actually go put your eyes on it. But yeah. Here is him. This is one thing I'm really curious about, and he did kind of mention it, but his relationship on Phil Snow and basically just having him and his aide with that defense.
It's been great. Phil's been doing a lot of work with Terry, and then some of the things with me as well. A lot of work with Terry in the pass rush games and, in that world of things. And then Phil and I get together about some of the coverage things that we're doing as well. So it's been good.
So, like I said, they didn't speak a lot on it, but you do hear, it sounds like he did kind of shout out that he's working a lot with Terry Braden in that role. And I think that's kind of what we speculated a little bit. Like, he'd certainly be out there to help Terry Braden, that defensive line, because you're losing Knighton. You're obviously losing your defensive coordinator as well as White. But he's working a lot with them. Thoughts on him? Again, mentioning, yes, he's helping, but also just kind of throwing out there. He's working with Terry Braden a lot, it seems.
Experience is key. If you got something so that can help you out, why not? And we're all under the roof and building and whatnot, I mean, why not? The more the merrier to help help ease tension, to help catch players up and everything like that. It's a lot of love to go around, and they got multiple coaches that can do it on different fronts. So why not?
Why not? I think that's the biggest concern for Nebraska football this year is why not now? Like, I think that's why this. Where do you think the excitement level is for this season? I know it's plenty early, but we are officially wrapping up with hoops. Well, we are done with basketball outside of the NBA anyways. And now we're kind of getting back into the weather's getting a little bit nicer. Before you know it, we'll blink. It'll be 4th of July. It'll be fun. We'll be back to playing football. Where do you think the excitement level for this season is going to be for Husker football? So we've mentioned it before, but there's a lot on the table to say this is the year, quote unquote, it should pop off.
I think week in and week out, it gets more and more. The fact that we're still kind of further away from the season, I think, or further away from fall camp. I think that's when the real Nebraska crazy kind of comes out, and everything is a little bit blown out of proportion. So it's kind of being it's simmering. It's starting to if you boil in a pot of water, you're starting to see the bubbles kind of. It's starting to. The wheels are starting to turn. It's not exactly bubbling just yet. It's not exactly steaming just yet. But we're not too far from it.
That's a great answer because that's exactly what's happening. It's the burner is certainly on low at the very least, and we'll keep talking Husker football throughout the offseason until we get all the way up there for kickoff. Good morning, Pierson-El. Appreciate the time as always. This has been the Don't Punt Hour, and that is the morning as I let him go on the Allo VIP line. DP coming up next, one-on-one with Derek Pierson. You guys can always join in, 402-464-5685. So that's going to wrap it up for this show. We'll talk to you in a little bit.